What is up, my friends? We are live. It is Monday and you are very welcome along to tonight's Late Night Agenda 100. As always, we're going to talk about Liverpool's summer recruitment business. We're going to pay homage to the greatest footballer that ever graced the earth. Lionel Messi smashed the World Cup goals record today as well. Happy birthday to our head coach, Andoni Iraola. You know you're getting old, ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking at Liverpool head coach and you're older than him. That makes you really feel old. I'll tell you that one for nothing. And as well as that, ladies and gents, we'll go through whatever subjects you want to discuss. Any questions, as always, fire them into the chat and I'll do my best to get there. So without any further ado, let's get cracking with tonight's 100. Right, and I do know, by the way, that I left the clock on in the video earlier on. I know this because you were kind enough to point it out to me. My dumb ass didn't even notice it at the time. I won't lie. When you guys messaged into the comments, I was like, oh, I left it on. You think I'd notice that, considering I can see it. But no, this is what I'm saying. You're dealing with an idiot, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not trying to hide it. So, tonight we do have a lot to go through. We're going to be figuring out, are Liverpool about to hijack, gazump, foil, whatever phrase you want to use, couple of Premier League clubs for one particular target. We'll try and figure that out. Any questions around the DIAMONDE situation, as always, I'll do my best to answer them as best as I can. But over to you guys. Right, let's get cracking. So as I said, happy birthday, Andoni Iraola, the Liverpool head coach. Celebrates his birthday today, and like I said, I'm feeling pretty old now, being older than the head coach, because let's be honest, you think about that job and you think, well, I'm not old enough yet to become Liverpool manager. So deep down you're thinking, there's still a bit of hope, right? There's still a little bit of hope that I could become the gaffer someday. No, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. But I want to, guys, let you know about an embarrassing truth. So I said this in Discord earlier on. This is how I know I'm never going to grow up. And this is a bit of a weird one to kick us off, but I'm in a jovial humour. Just asked the Discord group today. So I'm sitting there last night and I'm watching New Zealand, Egypt in the World Cup. And I'm delighted that Mohamed Salah scored and Egypt are doing well. And then the commentator says, New Zealand bringing on some fresh legs now. And me, without a beat, sitting in the living room on my own, and I got to stress that I was in there on my own, commentator, fresh legs coming on here for New Zealand. Craig, your ma has fresh legs, out loud in the middle of the sitting room. And I was actually surprised at myself. Just like that. Just instinct. Just came to me. That's how I know I'm never going to grow up. Commentator saying, fresh legs coming on. And me saying, your ma has fresh legs. That's the level you're working with, ladies and gents. And I make no apologies for it. I am an idiot, but I'm a proud idiot. Right, let's get cracking. I know, it's so stupid, but this is my mindset. I must say that to Sabrina about 20 times a day. Anything. She could be like, Craig, your dinner's ready. And I'll be like, yeah, your mad's dinner's ready. I don't even know what it means. Right, so let's get into it. This one from Billy Beckner said, hey Craig, hope you're doing well. I'm good, thank you, my man. And thank you for being with us, Billy, for 7 months now as a member, man. Really appreciate it. XXX, how are you, sir? Said Mo Salah goal and an assist yesterday and Messi goals today. Should have had a hat-trick. Yes, he did miss the penalty, but he still did Messi business, didn't he? Showed up and got himself a couple of goals. And do you know what? That first goal was wonderful. I think it was Almada that had the step over. It was brilliant. I don't know if he got a shout for Messi or not, but that step over is what opened up the space for Messi, and what a tidy finish as well. So yeah, right, let's get cracking. So what subject do you guys want to kick off with tonight? The first poll that we have running for you is, do you think Cody Gakpo leaves Liverpool in this summer transfer window? Yes, no, or unsure. I really don't know how it works out, but if I had to guess, I'd probably be in the unsure camp on this one. I got to admit, I don't know definitively one way or the other. Craig, you have to give Messi some airtime. Go for sure. Look, I'm all about it. I'm not even going to hide it. I'm an unashamed Messi fanboy. To my left right now, there is a signed Lionel Messi shirt on the wall. I have the Messi Argentina shirt upstairs in the wardrobe. I'm not even going to hide it. I absolutely idolise the man. And did you see the picture with him and Jurgen Klopp? I mean, I want somebody to look at me the way Klopp was looking at Messi in that picture. It was just, oh, right. There is no argument, by the way. Messi is the GOAT. Ronaldo can stick with Piers Morgan and do one. Right. How are you doing, Craig? Said Ride in the Storm. I'm all right, dude. I'm all right. It's been a bit of a weird few days internally, shall we say, with the Wegovy, but, you know, I can't complain, my man. Bit of a heat wave on the way as well, which is a rarity for us here in Ireland. PC Drat said, I hope Gakpo goes this summer, and 40 months, my man. 40 months as a member. That is incredible. Thank you, dude. Look, I'd be a liar, PC Drat, if I said to you that I haven't been sitting here dreaming about this Barcola, Diamonde, Rio Engamoa, Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, Victor Munoz. I am. I'm hoping that that's where we are come the end of the summer, but I don't know it to be a fact yet, but it's certainly not being ruled out. If you guys didn't catch the late video last night, Fabrizio Romano, unborn in red, said that it isn't a one or the other kind of thing here for Liverpool and Barcola. That interest is a separate interest and a genuine interest that has been there for quite a while. So he certainly didn't rule out the possibility of Liverpool looking to bring Barcola in. But on Diamonde, if you didn't catch the video earlier on, I'll reiterate what I said on that video for you. Speaking to people today, here's a couple of things that I know. I know that Liverpool have a medical team ready to go. I can't tell you how I know that, but I do know that they do. But that doesn't mean that it's close to being agreed. That part, like I said in the video earlier on, I'm not sure of, but I can tell you this. Internally, and you can ask David Lynch this, James Pearce this, David Ornstein, anybody you like, internally Liverpool are very relaxed about this situation because they feel like they're in the box seat. Now, you don't want to get arrogant or cocky about it, but Liverpool's executives are apparently confident in this one, that they've done the groundwork. Now they just need to start chipping away at RB Leipzig on the price. And I don't know if the second bid's gone in yet. Everybody knows there is going to be a second bid, but I don't know if it has gone in yet, because one of the things that's become clear from what the journalists have been saying about it is that although Leipzig said no to Liverpool for the €100 million, the €80 million plus €20 million, they didn't give a number. They just said no. They didn't say, no, our number is blah. So that's kind of where it's a little bit tricky, because Liverpool don't want to be wasting their time just throwing out numbers and numbers and numbers here. So there has to be a bit of give here, at least from the Leipzig side, on what it is going to take. Now, the player, if you can turn the player's head, which I think we have, that's a big part of this done. But like I said, Liverpool do have a team ready for the medical over in the States if that needs to take place. Apart from that, we're pretty much as we were, hoping that that news comes out today that the second bid has gone in. Right, what else have we got? Craig, would you take Romero? He has experience. Look, Romero there's a lot to like about Romero, but the part that would concern me is his temperament, because he does have a fondness for moments, shall we say, moments of seeing red. So that would kind of say no, and probably the money that Spurs would look for him, I would again say no. If we're going to look to Spurs for a centre-back, I'd rather we look for Van de Ven, but, you know, I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. If I was Liverpool, they should go to 120 million, and if they still say no, then simply move on. See, the problem with that is, and in theory, I'm not against what you're saying, my man, it's a very sensible bit of logic, but there is no other. Like, this is it. You know, this is it. If we're being really honest about this with ourselves, we kind of have to get him. Because if we don't get him, who else is going to come in and be at that level? Who else is going to be the new right winger to the level that we know that Yan Diamonde could get to? If you really think about it, there's slim pickings out there. You know, the drop down is quite significant from Diamonde. But this is one that I found interesting, splitting Liverpool fans, because a few more fans than I would have expected have said, nah, this is just not worth the money. This is just getting into the realms of the ridiculous. And you know what? It's understandable. I totally get where people are coming from on it, because this is a move that almost defies logic to some expectation. Because you know the way Liverpool usually do these things. They look at a player, they want that player to have had a bit of a career at a high level before they come to Liverpool. And this isn't the case with Yan Diamonde. We have a very small sample size, and then an even smaller sample size of the second division experience he had in La Liga. So I get it. I get why people might think it's too much, but if you're all in on the guy, like I said yesterday, I think we just have to make sure we get it over the line and see what the impact is then in other areas of the pitch as the window progresses. Do you think Agent Klopp might have a say and encourage Diamonde to join Liverpool? I honestly don't know, because let's be fair about it. He is a Red Bull employee. So Jurgen Klopp's interest is in the best for Red Bull at this moment. Like, let's be fair about it. He's employed by them. But Leipzig are also looking for a new head coach. So that kind of complicates things a little bit as well. It's not like they just have to make a decision on Diamonde. They have to make a decision and inform the new incoming coach about the squad that he's going to have to work with. There'll be other players as well, like Antonio Nusa, who will be garnering interest from people. Look, there is some things that I can't really say on camera yet that I do know about the situation, and I can say it's not done. It definitely isn't done. Anybody who comes out and says this deal is agreed or whatever, I don't think it's true. But people that I spoke with seem to believe that everything is a couple of days behind news-wise. So whatever we're hearing was a day or two ago, and the situation is evolving a little bit quicker than it's breaking through to the media. And from Liverpool's perspective, stealthiness is what you want on this. We don't want to be playing this out publicly. Liverpool want to go in, get this one boxed off, and move on as quickly as possible. Right, let's keep going. Let's talk Maresca here for a second, because Di Marzio has said that Manchester City will pay Chelsea €20 million to appoint Enzo Maresca as their new head coach. Of course, he was on, I don't know if he was on gardening leave or whatever since he quit Chelsea, but €20 million, according to Di Marzio, is what they're going to cough up to get Enzo Maresca in. Dan, how are you, Dan? Said, if Iraola is giving players a clean slate and a chance to prove themselves, should we be offering Gakpo that chance with a different system? So, I think that the Gakpo stuff isn't being led by Liverpool. That's my understanding of it. Liverpool don't want to move Gakpo on. That's at least what I believe. There may be stuff that I don't know, of course, but I think this is more from the player side. Same with Curtis Jones, although I do have my doubts on that situation to some extent. But people that I've spoken with here think this is more coming from Gakpo's side, because Liverpool aren't going to be actively wanting to sell him. He's a player that is experienced. He's a player that's been in and around the squad. But ever since we heard that Arne Slot was leaving, these stories about Gakpo started to come out more and more, that he may be looking to the future, he may be looking elsewhere. And truth is, I don't know exactly what's driving these stories, but they aren't going away, and there's plenty of them out there, and the list of clubs keeps growing and growing and growing. Now with Spurs, let me just give you this one. So Fabrizio Romano said, the story completely depends on what Liverpool want to do. The Reds are yet to decide currently and not opening any doors for Gakpo's exit. They're also happy with his performances at the World Cup. The hierarchy and Andoni Iraola will be discussing together what to do. Now, even if they were going to sell him and they wanted to sell him, they wouldn't be saying that publicly, would they? Because that would just knock down the asking price. There was another bit today that kind of linked this in as well from Graham Bailey on Team Talk, who said Tottenham Hotspur have held discussions with Liverpool over Cody Gakpo as they assess whether the Dutch international could represent a better option than long-term target Savinho. And look, whatever we think, I think he does represent a better opportunity than Savinho, because he's more proven in the Premier League. He scored more goals in the Premier League. He has a better record in the Premier League. So let's wait and see what happens. But even if it isn't Spurs, there's still going to be interest from Bayern and other clubs. So how this one pans out, honestly, your guess is as good as mine. But I'm just excited about the Barcola Diamonde prospect. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. Save the Manual said, but 70 million for Gakpo, worth considering selling. I don't mind keeping Gakpo. You just have to play the better player in a match, which Slot was not doing, and Gakpo was like the problem. That's fair. And that's kind of where I am as well, my man. If Gakpo stays, I'll be fine. If Gakpo leaves, I'll be fine. But like you've said, a 65, 70 million quid offer, I think that's a number that would certainly get Liverpool's attention, that we'd have to consider. Particularly if Arsenal were going to go in to try and get Barcola, and their initial valuation was 80 million euro. That's about what, 67, 68 million pound? So if Arsenal thought they could chance their arm at that, then Liverpool surely couldn't be too far behind and thinking, okay, well, if we got that money for Gakpo, we might only have to put a small bit on top of it to tempt them into the selling Barcola. Who was this one? Alexander, thank you, mate, for gifting 10 Anfield Agenda memberships. Absolute legend, bro. Appreciate you. Let's talk a little bit about... Let's talk about Nico Schlotterbeck for a minute, if we can, folks. This report here from Christian Falk said that it's now confirmed that he sustained a torn ligament in his left ankle and he will be out for at least 8 weeks. So what this means for his move this summer, I really don't know, because lots of the reports said that his release clause was tied to the World Cup. And I don't know if they mean Germany at the World Cup or him specifically at the World Cup, because his World Cup is now pretty much over. So does that put the kibosh on any move for him this summer? Certainly if he's going to be out for 8 weeks, it makes it kind of difficult for anybody to look at a medical or getting a move done before the window shuts. So this could be an interesting one to keep an eye on in the window. Mr. A. Centino, thank you, sir, for gifting 10 memberships. Absolute legend. Appreciate you. Embrace Gaming, how are you? Said Jan and Barcola gives Raw, Mo and Mane vibes. It's certainly exciting. Like, I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm a sucker for pace. I love forwards that just get their head down and run at people and terrorise fullbacks. And again, one of the things that I admired about Paris Saint-Germain was the ability of their wide players to swap positions and drift in and out. It's a nightmare to pick up for defences, so I'd love to see some of that as well. And when you've got people like, and again, neither of these are our players yet, like Diamonde and Barcola, they can both come in off either side. They can both switch it up. We know Diamonde is extremely well versed with both feet, so it's exciting. But I have to kind of temper in my expectations a little bit, because last summer I fully thought we were going to blitz everything. You know, after that summer transfer window, I thought we were coming in to be coronated as defending Premier League champions, but that didn't work out. So yeah, I'm trying to taper my expectations a little bit. I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans getting pissed off, said Darwizzy. That's very unusual, mate. They're usually such a kind and understanding group of people, the Newcastle fans, particularly towards Liverpool. They love me. Oh, dude, they love me. If I get one more love letter of a Newcastle fan, I don't know what to do. I don't blame them, mate. Even Keith Schmidt, I think it was Magpie Media, put up a post or something to say, Newcastle moving along with interest in Keith Schmidt. Please just go away, Liverpool, not again. So I don't blame them. They must be sick of the sight of us. And they must be just sick of their own transfer business or lack of transfer business. Craig, would you have Diamonde or Diaz back if you could choose? 100% Diamonde. 100% Irene, because you've got somebody there who's 19. Now, look, I like Lucho. I think we all enjoyed Lucho at the club. But Diamonde could be the next 10 years of Liverpool's right side. So, yeah, I'll always try and look towards the younger player. And also, if you talk about ceiling, I know Lucho's having a very good career and coming off a brilliant season with Bayern Munich, but I think the ceiling here for Yan Diamonde is even higher. The same Newcastle fans that used to voice their disgust at state-owned City. I think deep down, though, it must be tough for them. Because when they were taken over by the PIF or whichever Saudi institution owns them, they probably expected that they were going to turn into Manchester City, that they were going to build themselves up to this club. And then you see the players that they brought in at the start and you're thinking, wow, they've attracted Tonali, they've attracted Isak. But all these players are then wanting out quite quickly. And that's something we've seen over and over again. Now you've got Tino Livramento, Lewis Hall, other players like that looking for moves away. And how, like, if I'm a Newcastle fan and I'm waking up to read that Sandro Tonali's considering moving to Spurs, that'd piss me off. It's one thing if you lost him to a Liverpool, a Real Madrid, a Barcelona. Speaking about Barcelona, I heard something last night when I was watching the Uruguay game that nearly made me fall off my chair. And what the commentator at the time said was that Barcelona have been linked with a move for Darwin Núñez. I'm going to say that again. Barcelona have apparently been linked with a move for Darwin Núñez. I don't know what else to say. That's brilliant business, Barcelona. Well done. Replace Robert Lewandowski with Darwin Núñez. Samesies. Like for like. Mr. A. Centino, how are you, my man? Said, do you think that Newcastle was rooting for Spurs to go down to take the Big Six spot? I think deep down, if we're being honest, we were all fascinated with the idea of Spurs getting relegated because it was so insane. Like we throw around the phrase "too good to go down" a lot, But that Spurs group were way too good to be in the spot they were in. So I think we all kind of had a morbid curiosity to see what was going to happen with Newcastle, or excuse me, with Spurs in their relegation. But now that they're staying into the Premier League, they certainly look like they're putting down a lot of money, and they're serious in this summer's transfer market. From Messi to Lewandowski to Nunes. Yeah, all same, Mark. Do you know what I mean? Same, just one constant level chart, that one. Right, let's keep going. So, I'm going to ask you for your help. This is one of those times where I'm going to read out a link for Liverpool to a player who I know absolutely diddly squat about, and I'm going to need your help. So, this report here said that Liverpool, Arsenal and Paris FC, not Paris Saint-Germain, the other team from Paris, Paris FC, are working on a deal for 17-year-old versatile attacking midfielder Andrea Bartishvili. Identical offers have been made, this piece says, by Liverpool and Arsenal. Paris FC are trying to convince Bartishvili by offering guaranteed first-team playing time, and they said his representatives will make a final decision after the upcoming European qualification matches, with which he's set to play for FC Iberia 1999. Has anybody got anything on this kid? I don't know anything about him. Georgian, that's all I know. Georgian, 17 years of age, and another one that Liverpool and Arsenal are going head-to-head to try and sign. I'm sure there'll be somebody out there that's watched this kid playing at an underage tournament or something that has a bit of info on it, because I know nothing. I have a question. You speak highly of Bradley Barcola. Well, last year you wouldn't want him. What has changed from then to now? Well, it's a very fair point, and this is something that I've asked myself as well, Zach. I think it's why we'd be getting him that intrigues me. So, the way I'm looking at it, Zach, is, do I want Cody Gakpo or Bradley Barcola? Like, really, to me, mate, that's what this conversation boils down to. And it's not even close, because we've seen the best of Cody Gakpo. I think he's in his prime of his career. I don't think he's going to get any better. So ultimately, which one of them do I think is a better fit, and which one gives us better options? And look, there would still be players I would have ahead of Bradley Barcola, but these are the options that are available to us. And if I had the option of choosing between Cody Gakpo and Bradley Barcola, I'm going to go with Barcola, because at least the potential for something different is there. But it is a fair point, and I did say it. You're absolutely right. You often see me on here saying things, people saying things that I said I never said. I absolutely did say that one, Zach. If Messi wins a second World Cup, GOAT sportsman, I don't know, man. It's impossible. I think it's impossible to try and go inter-sport with these type of debates, you know, because it's just unfair. And I just don't think it's you can measure these things. You know, there's so many incredible athletes across so many different sports that have had storied careers. So I just feel comfortable enough saying he's the best footballer of my generation, and it's not even close. Midlife Moves said, for me, will Barcola cut in from the left 98% of the time he receives the ball? No. Well, then that's it. Yeah, I'll take that. And also, he has pace. Now, Gakpo's good aerially. Gakpo's good tactically. Like, there is things that Cody Gakpo is very good at. But let's be honest, a 23-year-old Barcola, a young Rio, a 19-year-old Diamande, I mean, the future is bright. The future is not orange. Sorry, that's a joke for older people. Craig, when do you think this next Diamande bid will happen, and how much? I mean, to say how much, dude, I'd be guessing, of course. The logical thing is somewhere close to 120, isn't it? Because Liverpool, you've seen yesterday reports saying Liverpool don't want to drag this out. Liverpool don't want this to become another Alexander Isak. So you're not going to go up in €5 million increments. But also, as was pointed out earlier on, it would be nice if there was a number. Like Leipzig said, this is what it's going to take. There's been lots of stories, lots of journalists, lots of pieces written that made up numbers, but nothing's been communicated to Liverpool to say, this is the number, pay this, the conversation starts. So, and when the next one's going to come in, I can't say for certain that it hasn't gone in yet, but I also can't tell you that it has gone in yet. All I can say to you is that my information is that Liverpool have a team ready if indeed a medical needs to take place. Outside of that, we're just going to have to play the waiting game. And I've learned some lessons about what I said about Slot and what I said in the summer to just bide my time a little bit on these things and give myself a bit more wiggle room. Ben said, I'd say bid 120 million and then if they refuse that, walk away. But, see, I get that and it's sensible. I just keep coming back to the same thing though. Walk away and go for who? Because let's be honest, if we're looking at the list of players that have been linked, Fernandez Pardo, you know, good player, but again, does he have the same high ceiling? Yakuba Minta, I mean, it doesn't feel like options B, C, and D are anywhere near option A. And this is the premier position for us this summer. This is the area that we're putting most focus in to get done. And it's an area that we have to get right. So I almost think we've painted ourselves into a corner somewhat because there isn't a whole load of top quality wide players out there now that Liverpool could turn to if we did walk away. And that's the part that I'm a little bit confused by because, look, normally this sounds astronomical. You know, the money for a kid that has as limited experience as he does. But as Keane said the other day as well, if you do walk away, where do you go? Where do you go? Because for me, the likes of Yakuba Minta are like, they're nowhere near as exciting. CM said, personally, I can't stand Gakpo. Not only does he feel like the player that summarises Slot, but also I don't like in football lifelessness, repetitiveness, systematic. Would love to trade him for Bergvall and Vuskovic. I'm also somebody who likes Bergvall. And I hope that Liverpool are at least inquiring there if he's told Spurs that he wants to move on. Vuskovic, from what I can gather, and again, I'm not really all over Spurs transfer business, but what I can gather, Vuskovic is somebody they don't want to sell. But of course, Brighton and others are going to continue to look at. And I don't think there'll be a shortage of clubs for Vuskovic if they want to sell. But I get you. I totally get you. Because when I think of the Arne Slot era, I'd be a liar if I told you that Cody Gakpo doesn't feel like the poster boy in my mind when I think about it. So I totally get where you're coming from. Any news on Coyote, the Sunderland right back to Liverpool? Only from fans. You know, it's a name that keeps coming up when we're discussing right back options on here. But honestly, I've not heard anything to suggest we're about to move there. The only one that I have any information on at right back is Ratu, the one that we've spoken about before. The Rayo Vallecano, 28-year-old, who has a release clause of 25 million euro in his deal. That's the only right back I've really got anything concrete on. Theo said, hey, big bro Craig, Alex Scott, BOUADDI, Diamondé, Barcola, Svensson, Inacio, Collins, these are the players I would go for and are all realistic. They are all realistic to some extent, yes, but some of them I think are overpriced. So Alex Scott, £80 million. I like Alex Scott. Would happily have him at Liverpool, but £80 million a piss take. BOUADDI's an interesting one because what was the Romano stuff in BOUADDI? Let me just read this out again. Second, I just want to get my notes open on this one so I don't misquote somebody. Oh no, it's actually Patrick Berger today that was a Sky Sports Germany saying about Real Madrid are very interested in Ayoub BOUADDI. People from Madrid, including Juni Calafat, were in attendance at Brazil versus Morocco match in New Jersey to watch him closely. They go on to say that the club will continue to monitor the situation and Lille are demanding at least €70 million for the talented midfielder. Now, Fabrizio Romano did say that Liverpool had inquired and that Liverpool had also inquired about Mateus Fernandes. And that's the hijack that we're talking about. There is a little bit of chatter that maybe Liverpool could be turning their attention to him. But if the price tag is sincere that West Ham are asking for and Real Madrid are still in the mix, I don't know how seriously to take that because it's not my information. You know, there was a couple of stories written today saying that Liverpool could hijack United's interest there. I don't have the information personally, but he is a player that I said I wouldn't mind Liverpool looking to. Now, one thing that seems to be becoming a little bit clearer is maybe Liverpool aren't going to move for Adam Wharton. I was reading something from Ben Jacobs earlier on, and this is something I think he said on TalkSport. He said, for Liverpool and Wharton, there's some appreciation there, but it's not moving. I'm told, as it stands, it will be a surprise at this stage if Liverpool enter the race for Adam Wharton. You can never say never in a window where Liverpool are going to be looking for a midfielder, but at this stage, nothing is moving between Liverpool and Adam Wharton. And this tracks with something I said to you guys yesterday. When I'd heard that Chelsea were rumoured to be in for him, I reached out to somebody and I said, is this real? Are Liverpool just going to sit back and do this? And he said, honestly, I don't have anything to say Liverpool are actively pursuing Wharton. So I'm really unsure if Liverpool have stepped away from this, if the situation yesterday with the former agent saying that Chelsea were in and are about to agree 70 million quid deal. Yeah, it's an interesting one. But look, I don't think any of us again would lose too much sleep if it isn't Adam Wharton. You know, I certainly wouldn't be heartbroken over it. I can say that Keane would be because he's at a gig tonight and he's not in the chat, so I can wind him up a little bit when he's watching this back. We all know that our chief moderator, Keane, is a massive, massive Adam Wharton fanboy. He's not really. He is to Keane what Cody Gakpo is to a lot of you. This one from Astralix said, hey Craig, who would you rather sign at centre-back? Schlotterbeck's the dream. After Schlotterbeck, I like Collins. Nathan Collins from Brentford. I think he's really good. I do appreciate the interest that a lot of people have been talking about in the Bruges centre-back. What's his name again? Sorry, it slipped my... Joel Ordonez. But I think he's not... I think too young for us. I think we need somebody 24, 25, somebody with a bit more experience because we have Giovanni Leone and Jeremy Jacquet. Inacio just feels like a bit of a strange one. I'm not really sure on Inacio whether Liverpool should really be in the mix. So Collins would be one name. Van de Ven would be another name I'd be okay with, but you still have concerns about injury. Honestly, at this point, you'd nearly say... if you could convince Schlotterbeck that he's going to be the guy and you're going to trigger that clause down the line, then you maybe hang on to Joe Gomez for the season and try and put your eggs in the Schlotterbeck basket. But again, I say that not knowing who Liverpool's top priority is in that department. I just don't know. Lacroix, who somebody said in the chat as well, that's a name that certainly has credibility to it from a Liverpool perspective, but I'm not aware of anything progressing. But Lacroix was on a list of names that somebody said to me to keep an eye on. Grizzly said, came in late. Any word on centre-back? Is there a Canada replacement or are we counting Jeremy Jacquet as his replacement? I don't think we can. No, I think there has to be another centre-back. I mean, even the patch journalists that cover Liverpool, when that line came out, they said that Liverpool aren't necessarily going to look at a centre-back. A lot of people just said, yeah, I'm not having it. And I don't blame them because I don't believe it either. You know, look at it logically. We got away with it last year with Virgil because he was so... and by got away with it, I mean because he was so bulletproof. You know, he didn't pick up an injury. We got lucky. So I don't think we can count on that again. Or can we count on Virgil to play the sheer amount of games a year older again? Then you've got Jacquet and Leone, neither of them with a minute's worth of Premier League experience. One of them coming back from a pretty serious injury. And then Joe Gomez. So for me, yeah, we definitely need a centre-back. Kevin Lopez, how are you, Kevin? Said, damn guys, imagine Barcola, Jan, Rio and Victor. Is it me or am I more excited for a season to start rather than the World Cup now? Oh, I'm definitely more excited for Liverpool season to start, mate. You know, the World Cup for me is just a nice little pleasant distraction, but I'm counting down for Liverpool's pre-season. And I don't remember being this excited for a pre-season in quite a while because new coach coming in and immediately you know he's going to have to work with the fringe players and the younger players because a lot of the other guys will be at the World Cup or on the holidays after it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing who convinces Andoni Iraola, who wins them back around. Lee, 23, Korean centre-back from Midtjylland. So not one Arthur that I know anything about, mate, but I appreciate you highlighting him. Thank you, my friend. Craig, would you take a right-back who can play centre-back as well? Yes, of course. Yeah. That was something that was mentioned in a couple of pieces. I think it was maybe our friends at Anfield Index did that story where they said Liverpool could be looking for a hybrid player, like you've said, who can play at right back and at centre back. Now, maybe that is going to be the case, but I still think Ratio is a reasonable one for the money if Liverpool can bring him in. Well, again, if Liverpool want them, it's doable because he has that release clause. Gabriel said, Craig, can I just say I absolutely love your videos. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. I feel more and more comfortable as every day goes by in the new studio. It takes me a while to get used to a new surrounding, but I'm getting there bit by bit. Dan Ballard from Sunderland, ex-Arsenal, good tackling centre-half. Certainly a good player, but not one that I've heard linked to Liverpool, in all honesty, mate. Thomas Arujo didn't cover himself in glory in the last World Cup game. No, lads, that Uruguayan team's terrible. It really is. Like, it's bang average, and well done to Cabo Verde, by the way. I mean, they're everyone's second favourite team now, right? Well, for me, they could be the favourite because Ireland in the World Cup, but what a story. You know, a 2-2 draw. They've played 2 games at the World Cup against 2 former World Cup winners. Uruguay winning it twice. I think Argentina have at least won it twice. I don't know if it's more than that. And they haven't been beaten. Drew with Spain. Or sorry, Spain and Uruguay, not Argentina. Sorry, drew with Spain and then Uruguay. I mean, wow, what a start. Incredible. And they were pushing to win that game. They weren't sitting back defending deep against Uruguay. They were pushing to have a go and could very well have found a winner. It's just brilliant to watch. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Argentino. I got my Argentina and my Spain's mixed up there for a second. Yeah, apologies, mate. It was Spain I was trying to say. Who would be your ideal DM signing, said Brian Box. I am a bit new to the BOUADDI thing, mate. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit of a match of the day merchant when it comes to BOUADDI, but he's so impressive. He's so impressive at 18. Like, to have the stature, the physicality, the composure that he has, he'd be right up there. After him, it's hard to know because I'm not really sure of the attributes that Andoni Iraola is looking for, and that's what makes this one a little bit more confusing. We know we need pace in wide areas, so you can look at some forwards and think, okay, these make sense. But for a DM, I don't know. Unless he brings in Tyler Adams, I haven't got a clue exactly who he thinks would be a good fit. Is he looking for somebody who is a regista? Is he looking for somebody who's a ball winner? Is he looking for somebody who can operate as a 6 and an 8 and push forward? Until I know the answer to that, it's the position. Yeah, it's probably the position. That and centre back, very limited information for me anyway. Lille wants €70 million for BOUADDI, apparently. Yeah, that price keeps changing every day. And I guess this is the whole negative aspect of the World Cup, right? If a player goes over there, does well, prices just keep going up and up and up. So it was starting at €50 million a week ago. But you are right, that €70 million was one we did mention a little bit ago. It was from Patrick Berger, who said, Real Madrid are very interested in Ayub BOUADDI. People from Madrid were in attendance Brazil versus Morocco match in New Jersey to watch him closely, and the club will continue to monitor his situation. Lille are demanding at least €70 million for him. Right, on Cody Gakpo. We asked you guys, do you expect Cody Gakpo to leave Liverpool this summer? So the options were yes, no, or unsure. And 70% of over, I think it's 2,500 people said they think he leaves this summer. I think that's probably the direction of travel. But it will probably come down to what happens with Barcola. So if Barcola and PSG don't agree an extension and he is available, and let's say Arsenal move for Morgan Rogers, because Arsenal are in the mix for him, and I think Barcola could be their backup. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out as well. Escapado said Nemecha, maybe. The problem there is the price. We touched on this one the other day, and they are apparently... I'll read it out to you, because I hate misquoting people when I'm dealing with one of their stories. So let me just read out exactly what was said about him the other day, and then we go from there. So this ITK Space account, formerly Bayern Space account, said Borussia Dortmund's internal valuation of Felix Nemecha is understood to be heavily influenced by the recent market benchmark set by Elliot Anderson, with a potential asking price in the region of £110 million being discussed, particularly if the interested party comes from the Premier League. However, it's worth noting that no concrete club has contacted either the players' camp or Borussia Dortmund directly so far, but internally there is a growing expectation that interest will intensify after the World Cup, given the tournament's importance, the increased visibility it provides, and the club's conviction that Nemecha is capable of delivering a superb campaign on football's biggest stage. So, yeah, if it's 110 million, I don't think he's going to be going anywhere, to be honest. That feels like it's a Premier League number rather than anything else. If Barcola is for the left wing, then why can't we go for Rodgers instead of Barcola? I don't know. Like, there's no theoretical reason we couldn't, but we clearly either don't have eyes for him or think Arsenal have a very good chance of getting him. I don't know. You know, there are probably 10 players that I'd like us to be looking at that I don't know that we're looking at as well, but I don't know, because Morgan Rodgers ticks a few boxes. Premier League experience, of course. Good age profile as well. Homegrown. So, yeah. Craig, upon selling a midfielder or two, do you think we could buy two midfielders who can play DM? BOUADDI and Kamara would be perfect in my opinion. Again, yes. I'll have to say, theoretically, everything would be on the table. There's every likelihood that Maka moves on, although it will be after the World Cup, obviously. But the Curtis Jones situation is one that... How do I say this without walking myself into trouble? Depending on who I speak to, some people think Curtis Jones genuinely wants to join Inter Milan, and others think it's to get a better deal. I don't know which one of those two is true. For me, though, I don't really want to lose Curtis Jones, particularly on a free in a year's time. So I'd have no problem with Liverpool agreeing a contract extension with him. But if he really does want the assurances that he's going to be starting regularly, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to give that to him. So, yeah. And look, I also struggle to think that Inter Milan will pay him what Liverpool will be willing to pay him. I don't see that being the case either. So I'm a little bit dubious on this one. And if it is a move to get a better deal, I don't think it looks great on Curtis either. So, like I said, I'm not really sure how it all goes, but it's up in the air. And at the moment, Inter Milan just aren't putting the money down that Liverpool want. And I think Liverpool's asking price is fairly reasonable at 30 million quid. Kevin said, I would extend Maka. This tournament will prove it. Replacing him would be harder than what I can see him fitting in with the Andoni Iraola system. You're asked to sit on top of defenders. So the thing I would say is age profile for Maka. What we're going to need are workhorses, people that can get through a lot of work. And Maka is getting a bit older and has had a very good career up to this point. But in the position he plays, young legs are probably what we're going to need. So it's a tough one, because I don't know if last season was an anomaly for Alexis McAllister or if that's the new Alexis McAllister. I've been watching him at the World Cup and it's been okay, but that team revolves around Messi anyway. So I don't know what the best one is, but all I can tell you is what I've been telling you for the last 9 months is my information is that there's a very high likelihood that he gets sold this summer. But if he doesn't get sold, then you have to negotiate. You know, his father has come out and said that so far there hasn't been a negotiation over a new deal. He's also said that they haven't publicly been talking with other clubs. So, yeah, I don't know. Andrew said, sorry, Craig, got in late. What's the news? Well, there's lots of it, mate. You're going to have to be a bit more specific on it. If it's about the hijack thing, then it's about Liverpool potentially looking at Mateus Fernandes to get gazump Manchester United on his signature. But like I've said, I'm a bit dubious about how serious that is myself. Let me see if I have this from last night. 1 second. Where are my notes? There we go. So, last night, Fabrizio Romano was on with Born and Red Born and Red LFC. And he said, nothing is advanced for Liverpool in terms of signing a midfielder, and it depends on the budget available as they prioritise signing a winger. Adam Wharton and Ayub Boadi are both appreciated. But he also said Liverpool made a call 2 weeks ago to understand the situation of Matheus Fernandes at West Ham, to understand the price and the conditions of a sale. But they didn't return with any bid or any official conversation. It means Liverpool are working on midfielders. Also, speaking with Born Red LFC, he said, I think it's a move for Bradley Barcola isn't just an alternative, but it's a name they keep mentioning at the club while they negotiate for Diamonde. So it's somebody who Romano is saying that Liverpool potentially want as well as Yan Diamonde, which has got to be exciting. You have to be excited about that. Hart said, do you think we're making a mistake by prioritising wingers over defenders early in the window? And do you think signing Diamonde and Barcola will be too detrimental to Rio? So no to the first part, because it's our biggest concern. It's the area that we need to strengthen the most, and it last year showed that up. Second part, also no, because look, nobody is going to be able to play 60 to 65 games a season. And you certainly don't want to do that with a young kid who's just about to turn 18 and making their way in the game. You don't want him being overplayed and burnt out. So having that balance, I guess, between somebody like a Barcola, a Diamonde, a Victor Munoz, a Rio Ngamoa, I actually think it takes a little bit of the pressure off Rio and allows him to continue to develop at a time that Andoni Iraola thinks is the right pace for him, rather than throwing him in, asking too much too soon. Because I don't want Rio to become another Michael Owen, or somebody who by the age of 26, 27 is starting to pick up more and more and more injuries because he was overplayed too young. But I do think there would be a balance between what we seen last year versus the realistic expectation of how many games he plays this year. So no, I don't think it'd be detrimental to him at all. Haris said, I think we still need to sign a left-footed right winger. Issue with Barcola is his poor final output. But that's where Yan Diamonde comes in. Yan Diamonde is equally as good with both feet. And then you've got Victor Munoz as well to throw into the mix as somebody who can operate off either flank. So, yeah, look, I'm happy. I think Munoz, as much as I didn't really know anything about it before it happened, it feels like a good deal. It feels like good value. And I think certainly Andoni Iraola's influence was all over that one. As much as Liverpool had apparently been keeping tabs on him for ages, I really think it was Andoni Iraola that pushed Liverpool to move quickly. Michael said, how long is Schlotterbeck out for? Reports today said 8 weeks. 8 weeks with ankle ligament damage to his left ankle. So what date does the transfer window close? It closes when the Premier League kicks off, right? So 8 weeks from now, the transfer window's closed. So I think, right, in July, I think 8 weeks from now it's closed. So that probably means a move for him anywhere this summer feels very difficult now. Especially if his release clause was linked to the World Cup. Rio shares minutes with Munoz on the left side, and Diamonde shares minutes with one more player, maybe another buy. Also, one thing we have to think about here, and I don't like to use a Mikel Arteta term here, but I do like the word finishers. I do like that term, because that's something we need to see at Liverpool. Like, we need to be able to make a big, big difference from the bench. We need to be able to have an impact from the bench. And whether it's Rio, whether it's Barcola, whether it's Diamonde, whether it's Victor Munoz, whether it's Isak Ekitike, if you have three of those guys on the pitch and three of them on the bench, that is an incredible potential to impact a game of football when you've got tiring legs out there from the opposition. Andrew said, thanks, Craig, it was the hijack. Yeah, I still don't really believe it, Andrew, to be honest with you, mate. Like, I like Matheus Fernandes, but I don't know. Look, Madrid need to make their mind up firstly. Are they going for BOUADDI? Are they going for Fernandes? Are they going for Enzo? They seem to be a bit all over the place. So with Liverpool, I don't know. I don't know who the midfield is going to be. I just feel like Matheus Fernandes, they won't see value in if the 80 million quid is the asking price. Craig, I don't get it. Can Liverpool afford to go for all these non-homegrown English players when we feel our homegrown quota is so low? So there's a couple of things, right? One, there isn't a quota. That's something that I keep wanting to correct people on. There is nothing written into the Premier League rules that said you have to have X or Y. What it means is if you want to have your full complement of 25 senior players, 8 of them have to be classed as homegrown. The other 17, as we know, can come from anywhere, but there is no quota to say you have to have the full 8. I don't think Liverpool had the full 8 last year, so they'll be aware of it, and of course it's something to keep an eye on. But we will probably see some places freed up as well, some non-homegrown places. But of course, they're going to be well aware that they need to keep an eye on both sides of this. But I guess the question is, if you're Liverpool, where do you find value? Because if you're looking for midfielders and you see Elliot Anderson 120, Adam Wharton 80 million, Alex Scott 80 million, Liverpool aren't going to look at that and see value. Where if they look to Europe and they see Kamara, Sengar, might not be Premier League proven, but half the price, with probably as good a potential. So I think the sticking point will be, where do they feel like they have to spend the money, and where can they maybe maneuver around a little bit and get a bit of better value? And look, I don't know the answer to the question, but it's the best way I can explain it, I think. I always thought it was a quota, like you have to have 8 players. No. It's just if you want your full complement, like you could have 17 players in your first team, not one of them homegrown, but you could only have 17. But if you want to have your full 25-man squad that isn't filled with underage players or academy prospects, yeah, you've got to have 8 homegrown. Any goalkeep news? No, I don't think so, Tanya. In fact, I actually don't really expect anything to happen in the goalkeeping department. I know there was a lot of conversation about Alisson earlier on in the window, but Juventus have given up there and started to look elsewhere. And with Mamardashvili, it's kind of gone quiet. I'm not seeing any suggestions that he's pushing for a move away or anything like that. So hopefully this is one that we can just go into next season, same as we were, Alisson and Georgie, and see what happens. UKJ101 said, feels like a weird question, but with Maka maybe leaving, what do we do with the number 10 and number 11 shirts? Who can carry that weight? You'll never walk alone as always. It's a really good question, but let me say something else to you. Anybody that comes into Liverpool Football Club, I would like to think, believes they're ready to play for Liverpool Football Club. And part of that, and part of the arrogance, confidence, belief that a player should have, they should want that number. You know, let's say I'm Yan Diamonde, I'm wanting 11. Straight out, I want 11. Give me 11. I'm the guy. I'm going to be the next Mohamed Salah. Give me number 11. So I think it should be more used as a token of how highly we regard somebody than a noose around their neck or weight on their shoulders. At the end of the day, it's a number. Performances are what's far more important, and I don't mind what number anybody wears if they're putting in a good shift. We need a defensive midfielder who works tirelessly, for real. We need lots of players who work tirelessly, yes. And especially with the work rate Andoni Iraola is going to have these guys going through. It's going to be quite serious. Like, they're going to be doing a lot more hard work. And something Chris Williams said in one of his articles or his social media posts a while back, I'm waiting to see because I think he's bang on. He said something along the lines of, when Slot goes, new coach comes in, pre-season starts, you'll start to hear a lot of lines like, players are enjoying themselves again, players feel refreshed, it feels like a fresh start. Like, the vibe just feels different around Liverpool Football Club at the minute in a positive sense. I think, if I'm wrong on this, I apologise, but I bring it up because I want to be respectful. I think, if I'm not mistaken, today would have been Diogo Jota and his wife's 1-year anniversary. So on this day, of course, we're thinking of Diogo's family and, of course, his parents as well, and his brother Andre. It still feels surreal to talk about it, that happened. I mean, every day when I go into my living room, I turn around and on the wall I've got a Virgil shirt and I've got a Diogo Jota shirt, and Still can't believe it. We've seen clips of him, highlights from, on LFC TV and stuff from seasons gone past, and it still doesn't fucking feel real. Like, it's so unfair that things like this happen. And that story, and him and his missus and the two wonderful kids, it's heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking. So yeah, we're thinking of Diogo, obviously, and his family on the day that's in it. Itachi, how are we, my friend? Said Diamonde is the guy. We're going to pay. Expect to hear we go this week. We'll hear number 11 on the kit, right? I don't know. Some players might have a number that they want. For instance, like what I've often wondered is Rio going to change his number? Or will he stick with that forever? Because there's absolutely a world where I can see Liverpool handing Rio Engamo the number 10 shirt. And I'd be buzzing for that. So I'm intrigued to see if he wants to keep his number, if he wants to change it up. Like you said, if Barcola came in, maybe he'd fancy a particular number. Diamonde might have his eye on a particular number. But we know 11 is definitely available. That's one thing we can say. And if Maka does leave, then 10 becomes available as well. Craig, can we get Konza from Villa? I might be the only one who doesn't rate him. Look, he's away with Thomas Tuchel in the England camp, so he's clearly got something about him. But I'm just not somebody who thinks he's that good, to be honest. Paul said also, for a full 25-man registration from European competition, 4 of the 8 must have been trained by the club for 3 years before their 22nd birthday. Thank you, Paul. Always good to have a bit of clarity on these situations, my man. Appreciate you. Rio said his dream number is number 11. Well, you never know. You absolutely never know. I guess, will Liverpool look to put the number straight out again, number 11, or would they maybe wait a season or wait for Salah to go elsewhere before announcing it? What I would say is, I always like any number changes done as early as possible, because what you don't want to happen is parents going out there and buying shirts for their kids with a particular number on it, and then a player changes it and the kid being heartbroken. So whatever does happen, I always want these things done quickly, so parents or anybody out there who's shopping for themselves, their kids, their family, can make sure that they don't end up in a situation with a shirt that's old before the season gets underway. Astral X said, I heard £120 million bid has been submitted for Diamonde. I would imagine that is euro, if it is the case, but I can't confirm or deny, and I'm not saying that in a coy kind of sense. I'm saying it in an honest sense. I know that we have a medical team ready. I know that we can move quickly, and I know that we're hoping to have some positive news on it, but whether the bid has gone in or not, I really don't know. I hope it has, and there's every chance it has, but until I have the information categorically, I won't be able to say it to you. Mark said, Maka equals Camavinga straight swap if Madrid wants him. I think Maka's worth more than Camavinga, personally, especially with Madrid making it be known that Camavinga's surplus to requirements. I think, for me, I think Maka's a 75, 80 million pound player, and Camavinga's a 50 to 60 million pound player. Ryan said we should make a rumour that Diamonde wants the number 10 shirt so he can unofficially announce his signing, just like Wirtz did. I still love that Plettenberg got destroyed yet again about that one. That Wirtz was demanding the number 10 shirt and all this shit, and no such thing happened. I'm excited. I am. Like, every day that goes by, the more I speak to people, the more confidence I'm getting around the Diamonde situation. And the confidence is really coming because of how relaxed everybody else is about it. It really does feel like Liverpool are in the box seat here to get this deal done. Now, I would say there's more likelihood that we lose out if he stays at Leipzig than the idea of him going somewhere else. Jason Curry said, second bid, 126 million euros or 100 million pounds. See, Jason, for me, mate, if that's the bid, that should be a bid that gets a proper conversation going. And honestly, I'd hope that would be accepted if that was the bid. Because it feels a bit like you're taking the piss after that. Like if 126 million euro, whatever it is, like you said, was bid, that's more than fair. Like what else? Like being realistic about it. How much do you value potential at? How strong are you willing to go with that? It's just, I don't know. I feel like most other years I'd be asking Liverpool to walk away from a deal like this, but we really are in dire straits on the right-hand side. Diamande should be on a Chelsea length contract. I'd imagine he would be. So Victor Munoz signed a 6-year deal. And so yeah, I'd imagine if you're investing that much money, you'll be putting at least a 6-year contract in front of him. Off to watch France now. Great show as usual, Craig. Thanks for the updates. Appreciate you. Thank you for dropping in. I'll be watching France when I'm finished the stream myself a bit later on. I'll probably catch the second half. Excuse me. Right, let's keep going. So where was I? There's a few other stories I hadn't gotten into yet. So, goal involvements at the World Cup. Now, this was before today's games, but Liverpool were top on the table. Stuttgart had players that have scored 3 goals and 2 assists so far at the World Cup. Arsenal, their players had 3 goals and 4 assists so far at the World Cup. Real Madrid, 5 goals, 3 assists at the World Cup. Bayern Munich, 4 goals, 4 assists at the World Cup. Liverpool, 4 goals, 8 assists at the World Cup. Now, of course, with Messi grabbing a brace today, Inter Miami's name will appear on that list as well. But yeah, before today's games kicked off, Liverpool atop of the pile of players who've contributed goals and assists for the World Cup. Tyler said, Craig, if Jota was still with us, what would have been his future at the club? I feel that's incredible. This is aimed at you, by the way, mate. This is more aimed at the answer I'm giving you. I don't want to talk about it because I think it's disrespectful. And again, I'm not having a pop at you, Tyler. I know you didn't ask it in that type of manner, but I feel like to speak about somebody who's no longer with us and guess at what may have happened with their career, I just don't think it's the right way for me to go, my man. So respectfully, I'm just going to give that one a miss if I can, my man. But like I said, not having to dig at you at all. David said, evening Craig, bro, and our lovely community. I believe we're signing players when they rock up to the training ground. Yeah, I'm far too excited for stuff like that though, David. I can't lie to you, mate. Transfer season is my favourite time of the year. I love it. I've said this to you guys for ages. I love transfers. Even when I was a teenager growing up, and I remember sitting in work in my part-time job, reading newspapers at lunchtime, trying to look at the transfer gossip. And probably got in a bit of trouble as well, ringing. You remember them lines that you used to have? I think it was Team Talk or one of them used to have a line that you could call. I remember my dad screaming at me one day when the phone bill came in as well, because I was that balls deep in transfers that I was looking for it everywhere. So being able to do this as a job now and talk about it from a Liverpool perspective, it excites me. It excites me because I love it. I love silly season. And I love it because of reasons like the Victor Munoz deal. When we can sit here, we can speculate, we can talk about links, we can talk about who we think is serious and credible, and then all of a sudden, bang, a deal just comes out of nowhere like that nobody had a clue about, and we're all just there. I love them days. They're some of my favourite days, like the Fabinho signing. That was another one where I just went, wow, makes sense. Never would have thought of it. And even Diogo himself, actually, in that signing, that was another one that I kind of just thought, yeah, I can see it now. Makes sense. Adam said BOUADDI would be 18 at the start of this season, and therefore the season he turned 21 would be his 3rd year, and this means he'd qualify as a homegrown player worth every penny. Adam, I think you commented that on a video, my man, and I'm not sure if I responded to you or not. I meant to. If I didn't, great bit of information, Adam. Thank you. Really appreciate it. How do I pronounce this one? Manjan Agra said, Craig, quietly confident we will get all the right players this season. It's going to be a really exciting season ahead. I hope you and the family are well. We're good, thank you, my man. Yeah, we're good. Just took delivery of an arcade machine about half an hour before I came on. And usually I'm dying to get in here to work, but I found out that the machine has the guns in it as well, and it has Time Crisis, Duck Hunt, all the games that I would have played as a kid and in the arcade. So Lucas and my wife are in the living room now playing Duck Hunt, and I'll be having a go with that later on, because that was one of my early games when I was a kid on the Nintendo. Shadow said, Craig, sorry if you've already discussed it. Have you heard anything on a former player joining Iriola's coaching staff, as was reported a while ago, but haven't seen anything myself? Nothing confirmed, no. No, I don't. There was speculation about Thiago. There was speculation about Jimmy Milner. There was even an article written, and forgive me, I can't remember where it was, but somebody wrote a piece that went through all the recent former Liverpool players and who has their coaching badges and to what extent. So it would make sense, though. You know, it's another way to not ingratiate a new coach to the club, but it's an easy PR win, as well as, of course, bringing in somebody that knows what it means to wear that Liverpool shirt and, you know, can help some of the players settle in, or just good vibes. But it has to be the right candidate, of course, as well. Which arcade game was your favourite? Out of all of them ever? Oh. So, it's one of two. I'm a bit of a weirdo. So, one of them, everybody will remember. Street Fighter 2, of course. Street Fighter was one of my favourites. But the one that I probably spent more time in the arcade playing than any other was Virtua Tennis. Because remember, I played tennis growing up as well, and I was a big tennis fan. So, Virtua Tennis was something I went to every time I went to the arcade out in Bray. Went to the arcade machines, was straight to play Virtua Tennis, or Outrun. That was another one. What was the arcade machine you got? Sounds good. So it's got, this one has, I think, 7,500 games on it. It's got Nintendo games, Sony games, Sega games. I'll tell you what I'll do, because my dumb ass will forget. I'll post a link into the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp group after the stream, in case anybody wants to have a look at the website and order themselves one. They're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So we've got two now. We've got one in the studio that has no guns in it, but it has 7,000 games, Street Fighter, and lots of other ones. And then we've got one in the living room that has the guns with it as well. Retro Gaming, I think, is the guy's website name. Retro Gaming. It's an Irish company, but he literally just left my house an hour ago. And do you know what's mad? He loves the channel. And because he loves the channel, he's been more, like, I'm sure he's probably a great business person anyway, but he's been so helpful and just really cool, really kind, really nice, lovely guy to deal with. So yeah, I'll certainly post it in if anyone's interested. They have lots of different ones. They have tabletop ones. They have full arcade machines. They've handheld ones. Yeah, loads. And as I've always told you guys, I'm not really a gamer, but the old-fashioned games, you know, simple things like Tetris, Pac-Man, those are the type of games that I enjoy playing. Got a question for you, Chat and Craig. Would you take the young American right back of Villarreal called Alex Freeman? He's a balanced fullback who can defend and attack. I don't know anything about him, mate. And I always feel so bad when I answer that question, because I don't want people to think I'm being dismissive. I just am honest if I don't know anything about a player. So I'm sure if there's a good fullback playing in La Liga, I'm sure Andoni Iraola will at least know about the player. So apart from that, man, I don't really know. Any chance that the German Schlotterbeck's been looked at for a centre-back role? Absolutely looked at, but the problem is his injury. That was confirmed today by Christian Falk as being torn ligament in his left ankle, which means he'll be out for 8 weeks. So his World Cup is over, and it's probably ruined any potential of a transfer, because if he's out for 8 weeks, will he be able to pass a medical? And then we get into the release clause, which is rumoured to be linked to the World Cup. So I don't really know, but he's my number one. Schlotterbeck, to me, would be the successor to Virgil van Dijk on the left side of the defence in the future. I'm not into games. I'm not, Rachel, any of the new stuff, PS5, any of that, no interest. But I love my older games when I was a kid. Like I had a Commodore 64, Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive. Those type of games, yeah, I'm here for. Sonic, stuff like that, Mario Kart. Like I have a Nintendo Switch, and I only have the Switch to play Mario Kart on the aeroplane when I'm going on holidays. That's it. Craig, if you could pick one midfielder to buy, which one would you choose? One midfielder. Elliot Anderson. Yeah, I say this knowing full well he's going to Manchester City, but I can only be honest with you, it'll be him. I just think he's the right guy. And I can see why City are going so big on him. He's got the physicality. He's got youth on his side. He's Premier League tested. He's a mainstay in the English national team. I just think he has so many attributes that I'm sort of disappointed we're not in the mix. But I've known for a long time how serious Manchester City were. So yeah, from honestly, that's probably the answer. And like I said, feels shitty saying it knowing he's going elsewhere. Also, I hate the fact that United are getting Ederson because he's another player that I've liked for a while. Infinity Production said, I'm big on BOUADDI, but don't see us getting him if I'm honest. My realistic dream is Lamine Camara, a proper workhorse and ball winner. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier on. There's no value in the English midfielders in this market. There just isn't. So if I'm looking to save money as Liverpool, I am looking to Lamine Camara, I am looking to Sangar, I am looking elsewhere. BOUADDI, another good example. If BOUADDI was English, the price would probably be £120 million. But you can get him, even at the €70 million valuation, that's about, what, £57 million, something like that? It's just so much cheaper. David said, Pac-Man and Space Invaders for me. Nice. Well, they're both on it. On the website, your man's website, you'll see the list of all the games. He has a spreadsheet with all the games on it. And he brings them in from China. And honestly, the thing that surprised me most about them was the build quality of the machines. They're absolutely incredible. The Wonder Man said, Craig, have you ever watched Robot Wars since the house robots Matilda and Sir Killalot are on display in my local museum? Yes. When Craig Charles was hosting Robot Wars, when it was first out, I watched Robot Wars religiously all the time. I loved it. And I remember the two you're on about. That's so cool that they're in your local museum till September. Yeah, Robot Wars was class. I loved it. I love Robot Wars. I also love the Krypton factor from that era as well. Elliot Anderson, 1000%. Craig, what about Time Crisis? That's on it. He was showing us Time Crisis actually when he brought the machine in. Do you want me to tell you how good this guy is? The dude is so fair and so nice that he gave me a holding machine for 2 months until a brand new machine comes in, because he wasn't happy that the machine that we have in the house now is one that he had for a while lying around. So he gave us that for 2 months until the brand new one comes in, and then he's going to bring down the brand new one to us. He's an absolute legend and part of the Anfield Agenda community as well, because he's a regular viewer. So yeah, definitely worth a look if you're into, you have space for something like that. David, I did miss your other super chat, mate. If it's the Barcola one, I was about to get onto it. Anything on Barcola? Just what Romano said last night. I don't have anything new to add to it, but Romano said on Born and Red last night that he's a name that Liverpool are still discussing, even if a move for Yan Diamonde comes through. So that got me pretty excited last night when I heard that. Also, what else is there? Oh, what do we think of the shirt? This is one of the two shirts that I was saying to you that I ordered from Adidas. I got this and I got the Mexico black shirt. This is the Peru one, the Peru away shirt. Does he ship to Barrel in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales in Australia? Probably not, but I did see a company actually when I was doing the search myself that sell the exact same machine in Australia. I think the Australian price was 2,999 Australian dollars, if I'm not mistaken. Paul, how about you go fuck yourself? How about that? Trying to get me to say the N-word You're not very clever, dickhead, and you're not the first, and you won't be the last to try to catch me out with it. So how about you go fuck yourself, rather than trying to ruin my family's livelihood by getting me to say a word, you absolute piece of shit. How about that, mate? Like, I honestly can't believe people try to do that. Like, what's the point? So I say a word that I didn't really say so I can get in trouble over it. Because I said numpty and people tried to come after me thinking I was saying something else. So, absolute scumbag. And I'm not taking that back. That's an absolute low-life scumbag thing to do when somebody's livelihood. And I look after my autistic child with this channel, mate. So I really don't appreciate you trying to come in to get me to say something that would undo 8 or 9 years of hard work just because you want a cheap giggle. And it wasn't even fucking funny. That's the stupid part. It's one of the least original things. It's like saying, Craig, you're fat. You don't think I've heard that before? You don't think I've seen that attempted name put in before? Come on, dude. I'm being nice to everybody on here. I expect a little bit back as well, you know? David, how are you, bro? Said, loving the top you have on. Thank you. Yeah, I love it as well. I'm a sucker for a black shirt because, of course, black is fat friendly. So you feel a bit less self-conscious wearing black shirts when you're a chunky butt like me. Do you know what I was so disappointed today, right? So you know I'm an Adidas freak. One of the guys in our Discord, Mike, said to me, Craig, you must have a ton of Adidas points and discounted this. And I went on and I had a live chat with the Adidas app. Apparently, the extra points and discounts aren't available in Ireland. UK have them. America have them. Every other country seems to have them. But nothing in Ireland. So even with the thousands and thousands and thousands of quid we've spent on Adidas over the years, no Adi points for us. Love the top, mate. What does FPF mean? On the top or this? Oh, it's Peru. Federation Peru Football, I think is what it stands for. But yeah, it's the Peru away shirt. I thought you were asking me this about a slang term or something, and I was thinking, God, I'm a real boomer here. I don't know what FPF means. Terry said, for me, if we're spending big money, I'd love to spend big on a player like Warren Zaire Emery, young, already mature to multiple roles and would allow us to fill multiple gaps without losing quality. Again, you'd have to ask, is he going to leave PSG? And he could do. I don't know. It's a name that, I want to say, was it Matt Thielen? Somebody linked us with maybe a year ago. And I've no idea if the interest is still there or not. I really haven't, but a very good player. The rumoured Liverpool away kits are meant to be white and black. Yeah, I'll be holding out to have a look at the third one. Black with a bit of red in it, I think. But surely we must be due the away shirt, at least going on pre-sale soon enough. Yeah, I think it couldn't be too long now for the away shirt to get dropped. Craig, if anyone deserves Adidas sponsorship, it's you. Honestly, I'd love to catch their attention someday. You know, the idea of Adidas even just recognising the amount of Adidas shit that I wear would be cool. I don't want that off them, don't want any money off them, but it'd be cool to even just get a social media post with something someday, because I've told you guys this story before. When I start going out with my wife at 19, she has me on her phone as Adidas boy since then, and here we are now, what, 25 years later? There's a few things on sale at the minute on the LFC app, a few Adidas bits and pieces if you're looking for a couple of things. Do you remember the black and gold? It's not a jersey, but it was like part of the lifestyle wear or something like that they brought out. That was reduced down to €40 from 120 the other night when I was on there. €44 actually. LFC Sappinen said, we need to bring back the classic grey and red kits or the yellow. Yes. So last year I loved having the green kit. Oh, that just... Yeah, for me, Liverpool, white, yellow, green, they're the away kits that I think of when I think of Liverpool. And I remember there was a mock-up doing the rounds of one of the yellow kind of pinstripe ones, and I was hoping that was going to come back as well, because when I see that shirt, I immediately think of Kenny Dalglish. Itachi said, "Who of our team would be a perfect main character in a video game?" Oh, Ekitike. Straight away, my head went to Hugo Ekitike. I could see Ekitike in the video game doing some cool stuff. So yeah, Hugo Ekitike for me. Before that, it would have obviously been Bobby Firmino. But yeah, I'm going to go with Hugo Ekitike. But maybe the chat can give us an answer as well. Keith said, "Hey Craig, I don't know if you missed my super chat. Let me go back and have a look for you, Keith, my man. If I did miss it, I know I missed Dublin the Desert as well. I'll get back to this one. Respectfully, could Victor Munoz be our new Jota? I get what you mean, because he's versatile and he can play anywhere across the front three. So yeah, in theory he could. He could be that. Not sticking plaster player, that's unfair, but that utility man that can come in and make a difference. Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Dublin in the Desert said, "What did I miss? Who we hijacking? Thanks, Craig." So there's a report that said we were looking to hijack Manchester United's move for Mateus Fernandes from West Ham. Now, I'm dubious about the report, to be honest, but it is out there, so let's wait and see. And also, we did have Fabrizio Romano saying, one second, let me just grab my notes. Where was this one last night? Was it this one? Yeah, so Fabrizio Romano last night, speaking on Born in Red LFC, said, "Liverpool made a call 2 weeks ago to understand the situation Mateus Fernandes at West Ham, to understand the price and conditions, but they didn't return with any bid or official conversation." So I don't know if it's dead in the water since then, or if Liverpool are just evaluating the position and seeing what market opportunities present themselves. So, can I ask you guys a question? Lewis did the early video this morning, and I think he did a great job. So, well done, Lewis, on that one. But what's your feedback, ladies and gents? I think Lewis has been, personally, I think he's been a great addition to the channel. I've enjoyed all the content that he makes. And while Connor's away on vacation, he's going to be filling in and doing as many of those morning videos as he can. So, your feedback, very much welcome. Did you see the private flight from Liverpool, John Levin, with the Liverpool Medical? I didn't see that, but like I said to you, my information is that Liverpool have a medical team ready to go. And this is concrete. I'm very, 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 very happy and comfortable with where this information came from. But that doesn't mean the deal is done. Like I've said, that just means that they're getting ready. Now, there's a long way to go on it. I don't even know concretely, if the second bid has been lodged yet. Some people are suggesting it is. I don't have that information at this moment in time. But on the medical thing, I certainly know that we have people on standby. What do we got? Conqueror's hay fever. Oh, everyone's struggling with it. Connor was down with hay fever for a little bit. My daughter was suffering with hay fever. Lewis suffering with hay fever. I think it's just the time of the year, isn't it? Ben said he's been excellent, and so has Ben, the other guy. Yeah, Ben you'll see a bit less frequently than Lewis. So Ben works with Anfield Watch, and they very kindly allowed him to do a couple of bits of content with us every week. So thank you to Anfield Watch for that. But Lewis is somebody who you'll be seeing very often on the channel, on the two channels over the coming, well, hopefully future years. Haley said Lewis was great. His content is always nice to listen to, and he knows his shit, which is great. He's a really smooth talker, isn't he? Like, I don't know how else. I could sit and listen to Lewis chatting and feel really relaxed for ages. He's very smooth in the way he delivers his content, and yeah, I'm delighted so far. I have to say, really, 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 really happy with him. Leona said Lewis has been unreal. Haven't watched the morning video yet, but I will after this. I think you'll enjoy it. You know, a lot of his videos thus far have been not front to camera because he's been doing informational videos with, you know, graphs and data and stuff like that. But today he was just him and camera, and it was seamless. I thought he was brilliant. Lewis has a radio voice. He does. He does. He'd be very good, yeah. He's very easy to listen to. And he's a really nice fella as well, which never hurts. Mark has just posted in Adam's link as well for the GoFundMe. Yes, thank you. I've seen that some of you guys have dropped in. I said thank you to HIJACK yesterday for it as well. If you can, make a small donation to help Adam get to the World Championships. That would be awesome. Mark has just posted in the GoFundMe link, and it's also in the description of the stream. So last night I made a bit of a boo-boo. I looked at my phone and I thought yesterday was Monday, and I told you I wasn't going to be live today. When in fact, obviously yesterday was Sunday, but my dumb ass thought it was Monday. So it's tomorrow I won't be live. But I'm recording with Lewis tomorrow evening. So there'll be a series of videos coming out, myself and Lewis, over the next few days. I will have a morning video with Lewis tomorrow that'll be coming out. I'll have my video at 4:30. And then I'll put out a video at about 9 or 10 tomorrow night as well. Just to clear that one up, because Keane said to me, I thought I heard you say you weren't streaming today. He is right. I got my days mixed up. I don't know if anybody else is like that when you have kids and it's in the summer holidays, but you just lose track of what day is what. Craig, I won't be able to get over that Villa watch along. My favourite moment of the season. Dada and Dweebs. Yeah. I never want to live through a season like that again. Like, that was such a difficult season in so many levels. The streams were tough because everybody, including myself, was disappointed and angry. And yeah, the difference in tone and the difference in vibe from everybody since Andoni Iraola's been appointed it's been really refreshing and really cool to see. David said, who's the midfielder we could be hijacking? It is Mateus Fernandes, David. Report today said that Liverpool were looking to potentially hijack Manchester United's move for him. And then last night, Fabrizio Romano said that Liverpool made a call a couple of weeks ago that inquired about him, but as far as he knows, haven't progressed since then. Also, there's a couple of pieces today doing the rounds suggesting that Liverpool aren't really too fussed at this moment in time on Adam Wharton. So Ben Jacobs on TalkSport said there's some appreciation there, but it's not moving, excuse me, I'm told, as it stands. It would be a surprise at this stage if Liverpool were to enter the race for Adam Wharton. You can never say never in a window where Liverpool are going to be looking for a midfielder, but at this stage, nothing is moving between Liverpool and Adam Wharton. And that backs up what I'm hearing as well when I speak to other people about it. Like, I don't know Ben Jacobs, so his information's obviously sourced differently, or perhaps the same, I don't know. But yeah, and I would have thought that was the banker for us this summer, that Liverpool would have been interested in Wharton. And, you know, I think I agreed with David Lynch when he said that that deal was there for Liverpool if they wanted to try and do it. But yesterday we reported that a former agent said that Chelsea were close to agreeing a £70 million move for Adam Wharton. And that kind of got me scrambling to ask people behind the scenes, is there much truth to this? So, yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that one as much as we can. Right, ladies and gentlemen, 13 minutes left on tonight's stream. So any questions you have, do throw them in. A reminder that I won't be live tomorrow. Right, couple of super chats to catch up on, but first let's get to Larry, or Mr. Leach I should say, excuse me. 34 months, absolute legend, mate, thank you. Hey Craig, I'm back from my holiday in Florida. Seeing that we signed Munoz, seeing Jones bid rejected and Diamande bid rejected, yet are we in for Diamande? We're 100% in for Diamande. That is goal number one, priority number one, target number one. And as I mentioned earlier on, we have a medical team on standby. But what I can't tell you is how close we are to an agreement. I simply don't know that. I hope you had a lovely holiday as well, my friend. Florida, always a lovely place to visit. So, evening, this is a very inflated market. Why are we being the nice guys to sell in realistic prices, but we pay extreme amounts to less proven players? I don't think we are being the nice guys. The reason Jones's fee, or his rumoured fee, is so low is because of the contractual situation. He's got 1 year to go. If Curtis Jones had 2 years to go on his contract and somebody like Into were in the mix, we'd be demanding probably 40 to 50 million. But that's the reason. And yeah, I think we've been quite good at selling in recent years and got good fees for them. And again, though, if you're talking Queeveen Kelleher, similar situation, just 1 year to go. Branca said, "Hey Craig, I don't know much about a new manager, so I'm expecting a top 6 finish this year, knowing that there will be teething issues. Yes, I hope for more. Hopefully we get a few defenders." So the main aim for me this year is to make sure we get Champions League qualification. But what I'm sort of ruling out the likelihood of winning the league in year one. I am hoping that when we get to after Christmas, and hopefully some of these teething issues have been worked out, that we may do well in a cup competition. So we may have an FA Cup, a League Cup, or maybe even a Champions League. So that's kind of in year one where my head is. If we could have a title challenge, cool. But like you said, just trying to be a bit realistic about it. As long as we're tucked into the top 4 or 5, I think that'll be all right as well. But it'll be dependent on the brand of football. I think we're going to enjoy it. But like you said, there could be some teething issues, and I think we need to be understanding of that. Just seeing Iriola will be getting 4 or 5 new players. Sounds about right. 2 wingers, a right back, a midfielder, a centre back. Sounds about right. And then maybe if 1 or 2 more move on. Craig, can we do a poll for how much net spend do you think we'll spend this window? I don't have time to do it now, James, because we only have less than 10 minutes to go. But if you remind me on the next live stream, bro, I will try my best to get it done for you. Branca said, agree, same. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Tom, with the market inflated like it is, how much do you think somebody like Mbappe or Haaland will go for now? Also, got Shankly Gates tattoo and love it. Nice one on the tattoo. Glad to hear that you like it. Haaland, I would say, if he was to be sold tomorrow, £250 million is probably a number that I don't think would be unreasonable to suggest somebody could pay if he was available. I think he's going to end up at Real Madrid in the next 2 years. In fact, I think Pep Guardiola leaving could be the catalyst for him to consider over the next while. I know he signed a really long contract, but there's always been chatter that he will play for Madrid, and I think it'll happen. Opusum said, I'm worried Rio playing time if Muniz is joined by Barcola and Diamonde. I doubt Barcola would join to play second rotation player. I think we sometimes think about these things too binary. Like, there's 65 games, let's say, 60 to 65 games in this season. It would be silly to expect Diamonde, Barcola, or Rio to play all of them. So I think between them all, there's easily a way they play 40 games and none of their egos get bruised or anything like that. So I actually think it makes sense to have 4. You want 2 in every position. And with Rio being young, you don't want to overplay him either. And you want the manager to be able to develop Rio at the pace that suits us, not at a pace that we need at a desperation because we need something to happen. But I understand exactly where you're coming from. But I do think we'll be all right. And like I said, winning makes everything a bit easier for players as well. And if you're part of a winning group, your minutes will count a little bit less for you. With the additions, potentially, do we have enough depth for multiple contests? I think it might depend on who impresses them from the fringe players. What happens with Harvey Elliott and stuff like that. Like, I have to admit, and I said this to you guys in the last live stream, I wasn't aware that Elliott's contract actually only had 1 year to go. I thought I had 2. So that could force a situation there this summer where Liverpool either say, yeah, you're going to be part of the squad and renew him, or they look to get a fee. But even at this point, what fee are you going to get for Harvey Elliott with 1 year to go, having come off a season where he's had little to no football? It's one that we haven't exactly done ourselves any favours in the transfer market. Rio shouldn't be expected to play more than 20-25 games plus sub appearances. That would give Barcola or Gakpo 40 plus starts, more than enough for both, said Paul Martin. And I agree, Paul. You know, I'm old enough to remember when the likes of Michael Owen broke through, and then when he got to 27, 28, he just wasn't the same. So I know it's difficult when you've got a young player coming through, but you do have to have a strong coach that knows how to measure when to play this guy and when to drop him in, when to take him out. He is only 18, so his form is probably going to be up and down a little bit as well. And there are things, if we're being honest, if we're looking at, that he does need to work on. The defensive side of his game, his counter-pressing, these are all things that I'm sure Andoni Iraola is looking forward to working with Rio on, but he definitely does need to progress on, as he should, as a soon-to-be 18-year-old kid. Monster Madness said, love to see that first training session under him. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. Honestly, pre-season is normally something that I kind of meh about, but this year I'm buzzing. Really excited to see who the breakthrough or breakout young players are going to be. Craig, just ask Google, is there any updates on the signing of Diamande? It says Liverpool have secured the signing. Yeah, but they haven't. So, you know, I think if Google knew it, more people would know it by now and we'd have heard about it. Now, look, this could be something that happens quick. Like I've said, it really could. Liverpool are probably a couple of days ahead of where the media is reporting at in this story. So to gauge exactly where we're at is really difficult, which is why I'm being so vague on it. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we woke up tomorrow and seen that the bid had been either rejected or accepted, but with a better understanding of what might come next. If Wojciech performs well in pre-season, could that be seen as one less midfielder needed? Another one but 1 year to go in his contract. There's 8 Liverpool players that are going in to 1 year left on their deal. Wojciech is one of them. So there's some really tough conversations to be had at Liverpool. Do you run the risk of maybe letting him go into the season, hoping he can keep his fitness, and then if he does, give him an extension? Or do you cash in now, cut your losses and try and recoup a fee? Tough calls, and I'm glad I'm not the one making them. You had a cheeky grin on your face. You know more. Oh, we definitely know more. I do, but I just can't say it. I learned lessons about putting too much pressure on myself with a story, because when I say something and I come out with it, if it doesn't happen the next day, I get it from all angles. So I've learned to try and be a bit more patient, give as much as I can without committing myself to something, and then when I think I can absolutely commit to it, I'll let you know. Like I said, it happened with Isak, it happened with Wirtz, it happened with Arna getting fired, and I can't control the time frame on these things, and some people just want everything to happen now. So I want to just give myself a little bit more breathing room. What else have we got? Both Jones and Elliott were constant man of the match winners for their respective England sides. Yes, like for me, I love Harvey Elliott, and I think under Andoni Iraola, he could really blossom, and Iraola could do with Elliott what he did with the likes of Justin Kluivert. Do we keep Elliott? I hope so. I do, but it's a decision you'll have to make fairly quickly. You know, does he stay? Because if he stays, you got to give him a new deal. Because again, he could sign a pre-contract in January to move away to a club outside of the Premier League, and there's nothing Liverpool could do about it. Or sorry, a club outside of the same federation, and there's nothing Liverpool could do about it. Who are we hijacking? The rumoured hijacking is Mateus Fernandes, but as I said at the start of the stream, I'm dubious about that. Romano did say that Liverpool contacted West Ham a couple of weeks ago, but as far as he's aware, nothing has happened since. A different story came out then today that said that Liverpool are considering hijacking United and Madrid's move from. I'm a little bit dubious about it because it isn't my information and I can't stand over it, but it was reported. You can have a search for it yourself. Sorry, Craig, but Diamande would be a waste of money for a one-season wonder. Should spend that money more wisely. So here's the way I look at this, Paul. What you've said there, more than sensible. But it can't be an accident that Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool, Leipzig are all tripping over themselves to try to get this guy to come to their club or stay at their club. And I would put their expertise in the stats and information they have on a player way above my own cursory understanding of them. So they must see something in their mind which justifies this big risk. Because it is, mate. I get where you're coming from. It's a lot of dough for somebody with one season in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. So Liverpool can't get this wrong, because last year's 2 big money signings have yet to set the world on fire. Now, I'm not writing them off, but we can say that they were a categorical success in year one. And if you throw in another 100 million plus player now, pressure really is on them to make sure that these guys start living up to it. So all I can say is Liverpool must be absolutely certain that this is the best option. And I think they're right. My gut feeling tells me they're right on them, but let's wait and see. Nearly 1st of July and still dealing with contracts. I'm so tired of this board sorting them. I know, somebody definitely took their eye off the ball with the contract situation over the last few years, and Liverpool have gotten themselves into a position that is an uncomfortable one, because Virgil's going to go for nothing. Alisson's going to go for nothing. Gomez may go for nothing. Costa's contract is up in a year. He might go for nothing, or Liverpool will have to extend him. And there's some decisions that I just don't agree with either. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from and I get the frustration. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start winding down the stream. If I can ask you to hit that like button for me before you head off, would appreciate it. Also, Lewis will be back here in the morning with another news video. I'll be here at about 4:30. Then we'll have a late video tomorrow night as well. There is no stream tomorrow night, but I will see you guys back later on in the week. Appreciate you all dropping in. Enjoy the World Cup if you're watching the games tonight, and much love to you all as always. Thank you. We'll talk soon. Bye.